Hi, my name is Pratik Sontakke. I'm starting this series called Terraform Full Stack Masterclass, Deploy Real World App on AWS. So why we call this Full Stack Masterclass? Because we are going to deploy front-end, back-end and DB on AWS. That's why we call it a full stack. So final products will look like this. A tutorial management dashboard. With static front-end, we are hosted on S3. This is our back-end. So I'm just walk you through what's the final product look like. It's on the API Pratik Sontakke.store. It's backend. Basically, it's CURD app. You can see we call it backend. I'm going to just show you how a final product look like, right? I'm going to create three tutorials in short. There is one parameter called publish. This is false by default. If you want to make it like draft, we are just going to deploy how corporate works, right? In that way only. If you get a job, how are you going to do it in real world, right? Exactly that way. No bullshit here. You can delete it as well, right? Basically, you can delete it all tutorial, and if you want to delete, you can delete. So yeah, that's just the intro about it. This is Terraform Full Stack Masterclass. Deploy your real world app on AWS from scale to web hosting. This is Pratik Sontakke. If you want to work with me, visit my website called www.pratiksontakke.com, and here you can schedule a meeting or you can book consultancy with me, right? So Terraform Full Stack Masterclass, deploy real world project on AWS. No boring theory first. We learn by doing. Our approach is learn by doing, right? What we will achieve: build a scalable, secure web app infrastructure. Deploy Node.js, right? Backend, we will use Express here. I already showed you static frontend using S3. Use Terraform for infrastructure as code. Core understanding of an AWS in context with our project. We are just learning what we are using in this project, right? Not left, right? When you do project like this, 2 or 3 projects, you are ready to go from zero to live. Our main focus is just zero to live, make our application live on AWS. That's our focus. We are following approach learn by doing. Learn basics first. That's a traditional pro. Topic focus, build later. Maybe if you get time, you are going to build it. What's my way of teaching? Build a real world project now. We just start building a project, right? Start. Goal focus, final app. Our main focus is zero to live on AWS. That's our focus. What the hell you want to do, right? Day one from practical, learn concept as we need it. We are not going to learn everything at once, right? We are going to learn whatever we required. We are going to learn that time. Our targeted architecture. Users. This is for front end. We serving front end to the S3. What is S3? Why are you using S3? Believe me, I am going to answer it each and every question when it starts building. It's just architecture overview, so you can get used to it. It's just the Amazon service S3, so called S3. This is another service RDS. This is another service EC2. So as we go, I am explaining. Today it's just the intro video, right? You see the final product. How we are going to achieve it? What's our architecture plan? User Route 53, CloudFront, front end. Users going to S53, then going to CloudFront. It's a certificate. It's convert HTTP to HTTPS and S3 bucket. This is our front end server kind of. In backend, user go to the S53. It's divert to the ALB. It's called as application load balancer. This is another service. Node.js app and RDS. So what's our mota flow? What's our whole application flow? I'm going to explain here only. So first, this is user. It's going to be S53 routes. It's to the CloudFront. CloudFront take a file from the S3 and served as a front end. This is our front end, right? Then what after front end? Front end will talk. Like I already showed you API, right? What is api.pratiksontakke.com? This is backend. So this is going to request S53. Then ALB, it's application load balancer. Let's say suddenly the spike happen. Millions of user gates. How I'm going to handle it? How we are going to divert the traffic? That's why we are using application load balancer. Then it's a Node.js app. That's our backend app hosted on EC2. Then RDS, we are talking with the database. Then we backfired RDS to front end. That's our mota architecture. So these new terminology S3, CloudFront, Route 53, ALB, EC2, RDS, I'm going to explain while we are building that. It's just an introduction video, right? Believe me. So yeah, we are following 3D application architecture on AWS. So I am going to explain what is 3D. It's basically there are 3 subnets, 3 rooms. If you want to talk from one room to second to third, you need to follow a certain way. That's we mota call this 3D architecture. Okay, so that's in layman language. In technical term, I'm going to explain it now. So let's say you can see here, this is one tier. This is tier 1. If you go here, this is second tier. This is tier 2. And if you come here again, this is tier 3. So these are the 3 tier. So why are you using 3 tier, right? Why not other approach? There's a simple explanation to it. Front end always be public. Anyone can access our front, but backend must be in secure environment. DB is in more secure environment, so anyone can't manipulate it or hack it. As simple as that. So this is public subnet. You can see here public subnet. What is subnet? I am going to explain this later. Just understand architecture in layman language now. So this is public, right? So we are hosting front end here. For this we using S3. For private subnet we are using EC2. That's api.pratiksontakke.com will be diverted in this tier only, right? So it's a second tier for our business logic. How we are going to process data. Express app or Node.js app will be stayed here, and React app will be stayed here. Public subnet for the front end, back end for this one. RDS is the database, just like SQL, Postgres. This is called Amazon RDS. It's in private subnet. So what's our flow? First request come from the front end. Route 53 will divert this request to the front end, right? That's the work of Route 53 service. Then from front end will call the back end in a private subnet. This tier only talk with the back end. So tier 1 only will talk with the tier 2. Tier 2 only talk with the tier 3. Not this direct way. This is not right. This is the only way to talk. This is only flow, right? This is called as 3-tier architecture. Front end will talk with the back end will talk only with the DB, not direct way. So the tech stack we are using Terraform infrastructure as a code. These are the AWS services. I am going to explain it when we are going to use it or try to build our Terraform project. VPC, EC2, ASG, autoscaling group, RDS, Postgres we are using as a database. S3, CloudFront, ALB, Route 53, ACM, IAM, Secret Manager, CloudWatch, SSM parameter store. If you get free time, just go and Google it. You will get a mota idea. So we are not going to learn theory first. We just build a project, start building project, and then learn what we are going to use it and why we are going to use it. What is first principle thinking behind it, right? Application. You will find application on the GitHub. This is our application. This is our backend. This is our front end, and this is Terraform for your reference. If you stuck somewhere, you can take a guidance from it, and I solely explain what we are going to do. So yeah, I am going to provide this GitHub link in description. Other you need Git bash for clone or something else. Git and GitHub. Prerequisite. You need to have one AWS account. That's innegotiable. You need to have one AWS account. Terraform CLI installed. Installed AWS and configured it in the terminal. A registered domain like that we are going to use it www.pratiksontakke.store, right? This is our domain. Existing key pair, I will show you how to do it. Simple Node.js app in GitHub, static front-end files. So what you need basically, you need this thing. You need AWS account, Terraform, and configured registered domain. This thing is yours. What I am going to teach you, what I am going to hands-on with you. Existing EC2 key, simple Node.js app that I already provided you. You can see static front-end. This is mine. This is yours. As simple as setting up our project. You can just clone it. It's already set up, or create a project folder inside .tf files, main.tf variable. You can see here. We will propagate these as we go. Create user.data.sh tpl. Terraform 101. We are just going to learn Terraform basics. There are multiple providers in the Terraform, like AWS. This is one provider. Azure. This is another provider. GCP is another. Terraform can work with any cloud provider like Azure, majorly Azure, GCP, and AWS. Variable, the parameters, there are variable in the Terraform, just like dynamic variables or variables in any programming language. Output, just say you just apply Terraform, and what happened? Some input from the AWS that you can show on your terminal using outputs variable. State is just like a memory managed infrastructure in tf.state. What you have applied, if you want to destroy it, how can you destroy it? So yeah, it's just a state it just the memory for the Terraform, as simple as that. Initialize Terraform, you can use this command, Terraform init, first command, new Terraform project, download necessary plugin like HashiCorp AWS. What Terraform init do? It is going to, what it will do? Just like npm install it or npm install. What this command do? We are going to download all the required file here, right? That's why we are using Terraform init. Laying a network foundation. So what's our foundation here? So this is the internet, and this is the user basically. This is route 53 we are using. This is your IP. This is your public subnet, private subnet, and public for the front end, private for the DB, and EC2 compute like business logic. So I am going to explain while we are creating it. Just if you got time, just go to the 3-tier architecture diagram. What is 3-tier architecture? And our main goal is 0 to live. That's our ultimate goal. Yeah. So what is VPC? I am going to explain in another video. So it's just an introductory video what you can expect from me from this project. And we are following learn by doing approach. So if you didn't get anything, any name, if you're feeling it's like everything is new for me, just believe me, at the end of this project, you know each and everything why we are going to use this service, not that, and what's the first principle thinking behind it. So yeah, believe me, at the end of the project, you know Terraform better, right? And yeah, you have one project in your resume, and you really know how corporate work, how companies work in cloud. It's just a foundational project. We are going to build multiple projects after that. So this is my first project. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.